Hello and welcome to the Raising Men Show, and I'm your host, Craig Carlisle. I would normally say Super Tuesdays, but now we're on in various places syndicated on the Raising Men Show, so wherever you happen to be hearing us from, whether it be Remnant Media or TheRaisingMenShow.com, WKBY, or any of our other affiliates, we appreciate you for picking us up, appreciate you for supporting us and all that we are doing. Definitely excited today. This is our Mother's Day special, and we're talking on the topic today is, what is Mother's Day to us, to you, and to even you? So we're going to talk about that today and find out where we really are with Mother's Day. Because we're going into our 8th year without your mom here. So what do you guys think? Who wants to go first? What does Mother's Day mean to each one of you guys right now? And what does it look like when other people are celebrating with their mom, taking them out, making a big to-do about it? What are your thoughts, guys?
For me, I think Mother's Day, I think of it as a day for us to honor all the people who we have in our lives currently that act as, like, I guess, mother figures, and also to remember the people who in our lives have acted like a mother figure, and of course remember our own mom, think of all the things that she's done for us, and continue to live on in her memory and live on in her honor and everything. And yeah, that's really, because I remember in elementary school there was an activity my teacher had everyone do. It was like we would make some sort of little thing for your mom for Mother's Day, and I was like, I can't really do that. So my teacher said, "Oh, you can just make it for whoever you want to give it to, and like some like female figure in your life." And I was like, okay. So I did that. I forgot who I gave it to, but I remember making it, taking it to that person, and thanking them for it.
Okay, so I mean, we're gonna come back to you in a second, because you made a statement of honoring mothers or mother figures. Did you do that today?
Yes.
Okay, so you did reach out to some mother-related figures today, and wish them Happy Mother's Day, or tell them that you...
Oh, I didn't reach out, no, but I did like post on my Instagram talking about like honoring mom and saying like, oh, I love you, happy, we miss you every day, and we're continuing to like live on for you.
Okay, so you did it. You did a tribute to your mother,
yeah, specifically.
Okay, so I want to make sure that we're clarifying.
Yeah,
you did mention it, but we're not executing, and that's part of the things that we need to make sure we're thinking about. Is as we're talking about it, we have to also be about it. And I'm not trying to call you out. I'm just saying. I'm like, okay, well, cool. It's a great statement to make, but I'm going to find, okay, what did you do with that? Yeah. Jackson, you had your hand up next.
I was going to add something to what he said. I remember making one of things for Mother's Day too. I just gave it to Auntie also.
Got it. Yeah. That's awesome. So did anybody go through? I mean, I know you guys are older now. That was more of an elementary school project. But did any of you guys have to do anything for Mother's Day in your high school and middle school classes?
No. It's like once you get to like middle school, they're like, oh, you can do that on your own time, really. I mean, I guess like my ASL teacher, he had us like create little cards, and he wanted us to like create cards on Friday's class. Okay. So some people were doing that. I was kind of just sitting there.
So they had you, so that's an interesting thought, though. So in American Sign Language class, your teacher had you create cards, and you chose not to participate.
Pretty much, yeah.
And what was your reasoning for not participating?
At the time, I just didn't think I would really give it to anyone, or I could have done it, of course, to like I could have given it to somebody like Auntie or somebody, but at the time, I just was like, I don't really feel like I wanting to do this right now, because it was kind of a weird thing. I don't really know why, but it was like I didn't feel like I needed to.
Okay, and I'm not going to keep pulling and digging on you, but you set the table.
Yeah, and I was, and at the time I didn't know what to do really. I was just sort of, it's like one of those things where I was just navigating through class because I'm just trying to get through my day, and I'm just like, if it's like an activity that's like not pertaining to my grades, I don't really do it as much or as well.
Makes sense.
I just kind of keep it moving.
No, I appreciate you for clarifying, because it's easy to go and listen to any of us say something, right, without adding some flesh on it, adding some what does it really mean? And so you took it as navigating through, I don't want to say your feelings, I'm not going to put your words in your mouth, but you were navigating through something that made you feel some kind of way, and you chose, if it didn't have anything to do with my grades, I'm going to avoid that at the moment.
Yeah.
And keep it pushing. Okay. Anyone else? Mother's Day. It's a big day for a lot.
I'll go.
Okay.
So mine is like kind of the same as Ryan's and opposite too, because sometimes it depends on which Mother's Day it is, or how I feel that day. And
I think you said which. I was like, there's multiple.
no, like which year or based on how I'm feel, based on how I feel.
But yeah, I got
But,
it actually.
yeah. It sometimes I think back. It makes me think how much we've lost, but also sometimes it makes you think about how much we've gained also.
Got it.
But yeah.
No, that makes sense because so maybe that's a great segue in, because did you happen to feel as if Mother's Day was a bigger loss in previous years, where it may have meant more for you to do something to honor mom or mothers in general, right? Versus this year, maybe the need or the hurt or the loss didn't feel as great this year. Are either one of those fair? Right. Okay.
Yeah, that what Jackson said kind of sums up how I was feeling about not wanting to do that activity, because this, I guess, just because like this year and also like of 2020, it's just been like us not getting to do a whole lot of stuff, not getting to go out and like enjoy everything. So it's kind of just me being bored at home all the time, and just, of course, like I said, navigating through my homework or all my classes and just trying to get stuff done, because it's like not a super big deal anymore. So I've just, like, since there hasn't been a lot to do, I just haven't felt the need to do that kinds of things. And we haven't, like, besides like the normal like female figures we have in our life, like Auntie, Miss Jo that showed up, and many others, it's like we haven't interacted with them as much to the point where I've needed to be like, this is a really big deal. Like, it's not as, like Jackson said, it's not as big a deal as it has been in previous years, because like you said, we're going on 8 years, and it's kind of just a weird day for me, because I don't really know how to feel about it, because it's like, do I make a big deal about it, or do I go do something small and go about my day? I don't know how to really navigate through it sometimes.
Okay, now, and Evan, you were going to say something?
8 years?
Yes, sir.
I thought it was...
You made Ryan's entire spiel to say 8 years?
I feel like... I thought she died in 2013.
Right. But it's 2021. This is into our 8th year. So it would be February of 2020. Right.
Yeah.
So you're in that time, right? We are in our 8th year without your mom.
What? Mine
2013 plus 7 is 2020. Then plus 1 is 2021.
I was counting. I was saying 2013 and then 2014. I was counting 2013.
Oh, okay. So can't count that far.
But back to what you were first saying. I did text Miss Dewana and I did wish her Happy Mother's Day.
Outstanding. And you were going to say something, Justin?
What? Do you remember what month she died in?
February.
He literally said February.
Yeah. So be mindful though. She died the day before Shane's 18th birthday.
That's the 24th. Shane's. Oh wait.
Shane's birthday is the 25th. She died the 24th.
Correct, of February. Mm-hmm. So that's something to be mindful of. And when we have him on one of the shows, I always want to ask him, how does his birthday, or celebrating his birthday, how does that change, or how does it impact him now, having his mom gone the day before?
Really quick, speaking of Shane, he actually called me this morning.
Awesome.
He FaceTimed me this morning. And he was just like calling. He's like checking in with you guys. I'm just checking in with you guys, seeing how you guys are doing, what you guys are doing, what are you guys' plans for the day, what you're doing. It was at like 10:30 this morning, mm-hmm. and everybody was asleep, so I couldn't really like bring the phone around to everyone. So I was just like, I was just chatting with him for a bit. I was showing him the new fridge we finally got. I was telling him about volleyball, telling him all like about what our plans for the day were. I was like, I'll probably do some homework later, probably do some recordings for the framework, do this, and yeah, that's about it. And then I was also talking to him about college for a little bit. He was asking me like, you're gonna be a senior next year, huh? It's like, and I was like, yeah, it's crazy to think about. And he was talking to me about like, oh, what are my plans for college? And I was like, I'm still figuring it out, but I have like some small inkling of an idea. But that's what I was just talking with him about this morning.
We'll probably have to call him.
You should.
Yeah, he told me to tell you all to say that he says hi and everything. So.
Okay, because I was like, man, it was just it all just goes around. I know I was actually awake.
You okay? I couldn't tell because when your doors close, I just assume you're asleep or you're doing something. So
everyone else's doors, mine are open.
I know, they're busting my door all the time. Jackson,
I was gonna say every time on the phone we always mention our new fridge.
I know. I was like, man.
because like we're so relieved to finally have a new one.
Well, let's just check that and make everybody think. Do you not have a fridge? And what y'all do for
You got a
cold?
fridge?
That old one was basically part of the family with how long we had it for.
Yeah.
You had it before I was born, right?
Oh, we had almost everything before you were born.
You're the last one.
I know. That fridge was around since 07.
Wait,
What month in 07?
When did you first
No,
get
that
it?
doesn't matter because Evan was born a year before that.
Yeah.
When did you first get the fridge? Was it when we were living in Marietta?
I thought said that you got it when we moved into the Menifee house.
got it when we were in
Menifee?
Marietta still before we moved.
All right, we're talking about the fridge now. Let's go back to
I know. I'm so exhausted. The refrigerator's
Do we have the washer too?
Yeah, wash and dryer. Yeah, it was the last of the wash and dryer is the last of the appliances we've had since she and I got married.
When was the last time you washed your clothes?
Okay, that's
All right.
I know. Anyway, that's a bad question. You didn't come around with today or yesterday. That's pretty bad. But as long as you wash your body in those clothes, that's important. So let's think about this through right now. Because like for me, I got up when I was moving around this morning. I was thinking, okay, normally I do kind of a triple-headed tribute to, my mom, your mom, and then mom's mom. Mm-hmm. And so this morning I felt a little different. I was like, man, I want to do something different this year where I'll just do a tribute to my own mom.
Oh yeah, I did see that.
And then, just something general to
everybody
else's, just moms in general, right? And I think, like you were saying, Ryan, I think as kind of navigating and processing through what do you do with your feelings, and I was like, well, is it wrong for me to not do a special thing for, my late wife and y'all mom, or is it? And then I had gotten this picture that I had never seen before that I used on that post I had got from Aunt Louise, of course, your grandfather's sister, and she sent that to me last year, and she had found it in some papers that she was going through, and she thought it was really special to send me that and another one. And I was like, of my mom.
Oh, your mom.
And I was excited because I had never seen it before, and so I wanted to use that this year. And I remember when she sent it to me, I remember thinking I will use that as my Mother's Day post for the following year, which is this. Mm-hmm. But then, with having had some issues with my siblings before, and I'm thinking, man, if I post this, and they in the past have accused me of stealing from your grandfather, I think if I stole this picture from them, from the stuff, and so I was starting kind of feeling some kind of way, and I thought, well, you know what? That's just a thought from the enemy. I can't worry about that because that picture was sent to me as a gift, which means I can use it in any kind of way I want to. So that was confirmation to go ahead and use the photo, and that's why I went ahead and did that and wrote my tribute to my mom.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
I was gonna say that picture you posted was like one of probably two pictures I've ever seen of your mom. Because there was the one, we had a little picture frame on the bookcase back in the Menifee house that was you and your parents, and then mom. I think mom's parents too.
It's still on the wall in the eating area.
Yeah. So that picture and the other picture are the only probably two pictures I've seen of your mom ever, because none of us were alive to actually meet your mom.
Except for Shane was the only one that was alive.
That's the only picture on your posters there that I've seen of your mom.
Yeah, I lost all those photos when we were emptying out and going through my dad's stuff through the self-store. There was such a commotion and turmoil about that. I chose not to have anything to do with anything of his stuff. And you can say that was probably selfish and stupid on my part to not take a memento or something that can remember your parents by. Mm-hmm. But him being the last person that died in such a mess going through his stuff, I had lost a connection with family. Mm-hmm. So to me, I didn't want anything to do with it. And one of the things I told the group was, look, don't ask me anything about anything in here. My answer is going to be no, I don't want anything. Just let me know where to put the stuff. So that's how I got there. But what ended up happening is how I wound up with the piano, because they were actually going to give the piano away. And I was like, that doesn't make sense. If you're going to give such an heirloom like that away, that's the same thing I learned to play on when I was 5.
Yeah.
So I took that.
Were you the only one who was taught to play the piano?
No. The other two were Cynthia and Kim. We all learned how to play on that same device.
Can you all only play the piano?
I was also taught to play clarinet in school, but I don't remember how to play that anymore.
Yeah, okay.
But when you have trauma in your lives, right? So for me, trauma comes from loss of my mom, dad, and loss of connectivity in family through the death of my parents and issues with my siblings. And then it makes me wonder, then, even dealing with the losses of other people along our way. Mother's Day and things like this take on different meanings, right? Where I don't connect right away with holidays all the time. So I can't say that I've probably been the best parent to push you guys through connecting with people on holidays, right? I spend more time wondering if you guys are okay. You know what I'm saying? And that's probably the reason why, too, I'll post the pictures, because you guys may or may not have, you have access to them. You may not realize that you do, but you have access to them. Because any of the pictures that Mom had when she was alive are up in the attic right above her head.
They are?
Yeah, one's in a green tub, and then that should be nothing but photographs. And then in the pictures, of course, that we hung here, those her faces in those pictures, and above our head still in the corner, there are some actual photographs. In fact, when we hung pictures here, you all looked at them. You guys were the ones that decided what pictures went up. And we walked through where those photos are and where it be stored. There's even a little soft-sided bag that's got photos in it. And so, and I say that to say that we've been in here going on 3 years, and it's easy to kind of forget where those kind of things are, because memory loss is a part of the grief cycle, and kind of processing through, do I feel like even looking at those pictures right now, and then moving here was a big deal, so you guys may have forgotten. So I don't want to say like, oh, I forgot, told you. No. So if there's other pictures of your mom and other sides of your family that are in those photos, if you want to get them, they're right above here. I'll never tell you not to put up a photo. If you want to even have it framed, I'll pay to have it framed, and I always tell encourage you guys to take a picture of the photo or scan it and put it in your phone as well, so you can have it, so we don't lose track of the memories. Yes, sir.
Do you think if we lived in Menifee still, we would be the same as we are today?
No,
Definitely not.
not at all.
Okay, we'll go to the two of you all and tell why. Then I'll give my answer why. Who wants to go first?
Can I first say something?
Yeah.
Back to what you were saying about not connecting with kind of relatives. I understand that, because if they kind of did you wrong, you don't want that to happen to us and like hurt us.
Right, and it's not just relatives. So I want to make sure those who are listening. In fact, I took some heat a couple years ago from people. One of those relatives would say, "How are you going to just talk about our business and our family out the network?" So for one, it's my show. I can do what the heck I want. Two, I'm not being
to me. So if you were that bothered by us talking about it, why did you do it to me in the first place?
right, and I'm not calling their name, and I'm not being vicious about how I said. I'm just stating the fact.
Actions have consequences.
It does, and this is exactly. I'm not going to go on the show and say this is what the situation was. If anyone's concerned with me saying, "Hey, I have strife with my siblings," or I'm out of community with several other people that are not family, then that's just too bad, because that's just the way it is. Now, have I forgiven them for their part? Have I forgiven myself for my part in that loss of relationship? Yes. But it has taken years to get through the hurt and grind through that, because, and again, we're not going to stay on this as a soft spot, but maybe we need to be here because it makes sense to us, right? Because I am the reason why you're out of community with a lot of different relatives and other people that are non-blood relatives that are family or were family, because I wanted to protect you all from what they did to me. And in some cases, what was done to you all, and you all don't know that was done to you all. Right? And I don't need to have us being involved with people who were toxic in how they dealt. right? And I get it that everybody has their way they deal with a certain situation, right, wrong, or indifferent. And they may have looked at it differently, but did they ever come back? Did I ever go back to them and resolve? No. I made sure that they knew why I was pissed and separated, whether people remember it or not. And again, there's always going to be three stories: mine, theirs, and the truth, right? So my version of the story is when the situation happened, I took it some kind of way personally, and to make sure that all of my sons were protected, I withdrew. But as a reminder, I always try to remind you guys that I'm never going to stand in the way of any relationship you want to have with anybody that you're either blood related to or were in community with at one time because of some situation that I had. But again, the same continuing on is I will not foster that relationship with you and them. It's up to you all to foster that relationship. I am not going to, but I'm not going to hinder it, but I'm not going to foster it. So and as a reminder, when it came to holidays and when, Cassius sends around the list of whose birthday it is, I always encourage you to reach out to the people you want to reach out to early and regularly, not just when you want something from them, because you don't want to be those people.
Yeah.
Right? But if you don't reach out to them and they don't reach out to you, no one can say that is that they did me some kind of way because they don't reach out if we're not doing the same. Make sense? And we all have got to get to the point where we forgive ourselves for our point and our part of that disconnection of however that is, and forgive them for whatever we know that they did or maybe you don't know, right? And I know it's you guys being your age, young people. You guys are focused more on what you guys are doing, right? And what's in front of you, more so than anything else. So if those people really aren't in front of you daily, it may not be a big deal and a priority for you. So a lot of our disconnecting in some cases they're just not here. But as an adult, my take is always, you guys are kids. They're the adult. And if it comes to a fostering a relationship, it really sits on the adult's lap, right? No one can say, well, how come your kids don't call? Because they're kids. They're calling me when they want something, right? And that's really 90% of the time. Now, and I say it selfishly, even when I give Kaden a hard time. When you come out to the office, you give me a hug like 4, 5, 6 times a day, and it's still because you want something. No. Follow me. No, follow my logic. You want to give me a hug, right? So it's still you want something, but I don't want to I make light of it to say that it's not from a financial, monetary, can I go do something? You do it because you want to do that. And that's perfect. But it's everything we do out of selfish motives. There's something we want to do, something we feel led. Even if we're led by the Holy Spirit, that is a selfish move because you're led to follow after what you're supposed to do. And that is still something we need to do in a selfish manner. We need to follow after God selfishly. Make sense? Okay. So I love it because that's something with the death of your mom that has been broken inside of me. You follow me? So I am not the huggy, lovey dad that you probably all need, because what you guys represent to me as a part of your mom, right? And I think I shared with you guys before on another broadcast, but I don't know if you guys remember it or not. But when she first died, when you guys would touch me, it would hurt. Physically cause me pain. But not because you were doing anything to me. But when you would each one of you would touch me, all I would think about was the pain of losing her. That's what that translated to my physical body. So, but it's nothing that you all ever did to me that did that, ever. It was just a part of my grief cycle, how I was processing grief. Make sense?
Yeah.
So I'm trying to do better when Jackson, you come around, or Ryan, you come around, or Kaden, you come around, or Evan, you starting to come around more with hug. I'm trying to do more because I know it's part of your love languages, and you need me to do that. And you're going to need to do that with your sons and your daughters when you guys have kids. It's a thing. And I'm just trying to let you know, acknowledge that yeah, I'm having issues with that, and I'm working on it. So to help me work on it, please. I need you all to help me with that part.
Hopefully nobody has kids anytime soon.
Yeah, that's for sure. Because that's a different problem we're gonna have. I ain't gonna even lie. Shane included, that's gonna be a different problem. He 26. I'm like, he called me and talked about I'm having kids. I'm like, what? But he's 26, so that should be more accepted.
He's out of the house and he pays for his
I understand,
stuff, so.
but he's still 26.
I'm just saying.
I know, but I won't get mad at yourself for that. But if y'all under 18 or 18 and under come and tell me that problem, we're gonna have a different problem. I'll tell you. There'll be some furniture moving around.
You need to be on TLC.
Oh my gosh, TLC. Shoot, we're going to be on the 911 show. How about somebody bailing me out? Y'all going to be on the RZNGMEN show. The frame we're talking about. Can you do what's the GoFundMe to help my dad get his bail?
Get some bail money.
Yeah. You know, heck, my dad done lost his mind for a second.
To record bumpers, we'll have the cord from our phone through the
Oh yeah.
the visiting eye.
Oh, I know. Dad, can you read this introduction for real quick over the phone? Well, hold on, I'm running out of money. Can you put some more money on my account? No, I'm playing. We ain't gonna go there. But we're talking more about the whole Mother's Day, where we are with the whole concept of Mother's Day. So this year, do you all think about we are further along, better healing, feeling better about ourselves going into this year, or what?
I wanted to say before we go to that, Kate and Ryan were gonna say something, but then we went to
yes,
talking
thank you.
about I was.
Thank you. I thank you. I appreciate it. So one of you give why you thought this.
Oh,
year
I asked if you think it would be the same if we lived in Menifee today.
Yes. So
My reasoning is I don't think that we would be the same people we are today. If we stayed.
good or bad. So clarify good or bad.
Well, I think who we are now is pretty good, and I think that like in bad terms we would not be the same people because we would have never gotten away from all the things that okay, sorry. If we hadn't moved away from Menifee, I never would have realized all the like things that were going on in my school life and normal life because I started to notice that some of the people I was hanging out with at school, like after we left, I realized some of them weren't really that good friends with me because I only ever talked to them at school. I asked a few of them to ever hang out after school, but they were never available. Or I realized I never actually got super close with a lot of those people. It was just I would talk to them at school, and then the only person I would hang out with outside of school was probably Donovan because he was our next door neighbor. So I would hang out with him, and that was about it for the most part. And so if we hadn't moved away from Menifee, we wouldn't have learned as many things that we are today. We have today. I wouldn't have encountered pretty much my best friend Evan Sablon. I never would have met him. I never would have grown as a person. Never would have as many resources as we have today to deal with our grief or any problems we have today.